Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to go over something that I feel like should be common sense, but in reality, apparently it's not. And that is, we're going to go over the story of Harrison Ford and his injury on the set of Indiana Jones 5, because it was just announced today by The Sun that basically that he is going to be out for roughly 3 months because he had to get soldier surgery after a stunt went wrong and he suffered an injury. Now, originally it was stated that the injury was not that bad. However, now we are hearing that he is going to indeed need surgery on the shoulder in order to fix it, and I would assume also rehab. And then after that, he is going to have to get back to filming this movie. Now, I don't have a lot of good things to say about this film. The fourth Indiana Jones film was a complete train wreck, even though it was done by Steven Spielberg. This film is basically has almost no attachment to the original three Indiana Jones films, other than the fact that Lucasfilm is in production on it. But a lot of the people at Lucasfilm that were involved in the first three are no longer there. Again, Kathleen Kennedy just had her name slapped on it because she was part of the production team, not because she actually had any creative input or helped make the film, period, outside of assuring financing. And it's Disney. They do not care about assuring financing. They will just throw money at it. So that's really not even a problem here. They got James Mangold to direct, who, look, he's a capable director, but in this situation, I feel like Disney has a tendency of kneecapping directors. We all have heard stories of directors that have fallen out with Disney. Scott Derrickson recently, who was originally supposed to be helming Doctor Strange 2. Jon Favreau dropped out with them after Iron Man 2, after they acquired everything and they replaced him for Iron Man 3. Um, there's been a lot of especially lately, actually there's been a lot of issues involving securing directors and stuff like that, even from and especially from Lucasfilm as well, with the Star Wars crowd. All the stuff that happened with Lord and Miller, we know they let Rian Johnson basically just run amok on his production. They got rid of Colin Trevorrow, who had a lot of really good ideas for what he wanted to do for Episode 9, and instead they decided to nix that. There's a lot of mismanagement going on over there involving the major franchises, but this movie should have never been greenlit. And I know I'm really kind of more or less doing this in a roundabout way, but the whole thing is that James Mangold is an experienced director. Harrison Ford demanded that he do his own stunts, and I'm assuming that was put in the contract. You should have never agreed to that contract. You are having an 80-year-old man doing an action movie. That should not take place. And I said it before, they are going to kill Harrison Ford. And if he comes back and gets injured again, then we're going to start having to question a few things. Because the other thing is, this has drawn out this production for 3 months. So all these people that Disney are paying are going to have to sit there with their thumbs up their asses for 3 months because Harrison Ford insisted on doing his own stunts. Now there are a bunch of stories and background stuff too. You know, he did all his own stunts on Raiders of the Lost Ark. The boulder chase scene is fairly famous for the number of times that he had to do it because of the way it was filmed. Um, he's done all of his own stunts in previous films, but the difference is the man is almost 80. You can't have an 80-year-old guy running around and doing stunts. Again, Paramount found this out with that Picard show where they tried to make it an action show, and instead you have and I think Patrick Stewart must be closing in on 90 at this point, or he's at least in his early 80s. But you had him running around, and everybody was really concerned with that. At this point, this is almost like putting the elderly in danger. But James Mangold should have put his foot down immediately and said, "No, I am not. I am not going to kill Harrison Ford. He is getting a stunt double in the more riskier scenes." Now, look, if they just have him like, all right, he's going to jog down the road, or he's going to do this, or he's got to do something where it's really not that difficult and it's not physically taxing on him, I understand allowing him to do that. There were some ridiculous things. I mean, like back in the Canon days where Charles Bronson had like a stunt double for throwing a paper bag at a car at one point. simply because the car was supposed to swerve semi near him. I don't think we need to go to that point. But if you're going to have Harrison Ford doing these action things, where I'm assuming he got his shoulder injured because he fell over or something like that happened. Again, the man is 80. He is not 30 anymore. He's not going to be able to do the same stunts that he did in the original Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I know they're hyping this up as, oh, it's Harrison Ford's last Indiana Jones film. That might be true by the end of this because it might actually kill him. And I really hope this doesn't wind up being like a game of death situation where if he dies during production, they continue on with it and then proceed to, CGI him into the movie or do something like that. That would be even stranger. Um, but this is just a breakdown on a production standpoint. This is Lucasfilm mismanaging a production yet again. This is not what you want to see from a triple A production, and I can only imagine how the parent company up at Disney is face palming at this point that they got to fork out another 3 months because Kathleen Kennedy allowed him to have a clause in his contract that he did all his own stunts. And it may have been a breaking point. It may have been a point that he demanded, but at the same time, look, it has to have driven the cost of that film up astronomically, especially for the insurance cost, by the way. You're insuring an 80-year-old guy for an action movie. If he actually did die, if something happened where he died on set or he had injuries that resulted in his death, then I can't imagine the amount of money Disney would have to shell out to the Ford family, or that insurance company, I should say, would have to shell out for the Ford family, and Disney would then probably have to pay a hefty sum as well in a civil lawsuit for allowing this to happen. But we need to seriously, seriously question what we let actors do on productions, and if you let them have free reign through a contract, then this is what you're going to get. You're going to get older actors who are going to try and do roles that they did in their youth, and they're going to hurt or kill themselves. Again, Patrick Stewart coming back for Picard season 2, I think that is a terrible idea, regardless of whether or not Picard is a good show. It is not, by the way, but regardless of if it was a good show or not, I would say no, do not have him come back and have him do action roles. He is the captain of a fucking starship, just like you shouldn't have an 80-year-old Indiana Jones still running around and going on adventures in what presumably is the 1960s and could possibly involve space aliens, which, by the way, yes, that's also a part of this production. But the bottom line here is Harrison Ford is out of commission for roughly 3 months, and the production is shut down for that amount of time until he is able to come back. Apparently, they can't even do B-roll. Maybe they can't even do B-roll or like other scenes or anything like that because maybe he's going to be in like every single scene. I don't know. I would imagine he would be in a majority of the movie, or maybe they already filmed the scenes that he's not in before this already. But it's not a good look. It's not a good look for Disney. It's not a good look for Lucasfilm. It's not a good look for Harrison Ford or James Mangold. This is just bad all the way around. So, I want to know what you guys think, though. Are you excited for this movie? Do you fear for Harrison Ford's life as I do, seeing as how we seem to be losing older celebrities a lot these days? Put your thoughts in the comments below. As usual, I like to read them. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?